Hi there, it's Nicole for Lawn Fun, and today I am sharing the latest in Lawn Fun's interactive cards. This is the Shadow Box card. It creates this awesome pop-up shadow box design, and I'm going to show you how I created a Halloween card using the shadow box card pop-up with some previously released stamps and dies from Lawn Fun. So these are the components. I'm going to be using the shadow box. You're going to need 2 of those die cut panels to create the box. Plus there are several options for the window that you're looking through for that pop-up. I'm going to use the largest rectangle for my card today. So from one panel, I just die cut the box as is. From the second one, I am going to die cut that window from it. This is the Storm Cloud cardstock from Lawn Fawn. And I've also trimmed down a piece of Canson watercolor cardstock that's going to fit the back of my shadow box. This is going to be what's in the very back of the scene. On this, I'm going to use a powder tool and then stamp the round moon image from the Happy Haunting stamp set. This is an older stamp set from Lawn Fawn, and most of the images I'm using today are coming from this. I'm going to emboss this with Lawn Fawn's brand new white embossing powder. And then I'm going to take some watercolors and color this in. And I'm going to start with a really beautiful deep blue. I'm using a water brush pen that already has water in it. And I'm going to lay that color down around the moon. Now this is going to be way too blue for a Halloween card, I think. So what I'm going to do, it's a fantastic base color. I want hints of the blue to show through the black that I'm going to lay on top, but this is just getting that base color down. In fact, I went ahead and tried to add the black on top of this before drawing that blue background, and I think it loses a little bit of the look I was going for. So what I'm going to do, and I find that this works the best because you don't oversaturate your paper. I purposely oversaturated it here. I'm going to blot some of that dry where the ink is pooled along the edges, and I'm going to hit this with a heat tool. If you add too much water, too much paint, one on top of another, you could end up with a pilled mess of paper. So I like to dry it a little bit, and I'm simply going to start over. I don't need to stamp this again. I don't need a new piece of paper. Instead, I'm going to take that deep blue ink color, lay that down, go ahead and dry that. It doesn't have to be all the way dry. I just like to have a nice, fairly dry, I'd say 75–80% dry. And then I'm going to go back over this with the black ink. And this is a pretty opaque ink. So lay that down, add just a little bit more water to that, and then it looks very, very dark, but I'm going to hit it with the heat tool, and hints of blue show up from underneath, which is fantastic. Then I'm going to take this silver, and I'm going to color in the moon. This is not adding a ton of color. It's going to add some sparkle. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that black and lay it all over the moon shape. Water it down with some water and then hit it with a heat tool, and it is going to have some fantastic texture to that moon. Once this is dry, I'm going to put a little water in the white opaque ink, pick it up with a small paintbrush, and flick it over the background to kind of give it the look of a starry sky. Absolutely love these watercolors, love creating different effects, especially skies and galaxies and all kinds of things with this. Next, I am going to use score tape. I find it's a nice strong adhesive. It's nice and thin. It's going to be perfect for this. I'm going to put the score tape along those little notched edges of the shadow box. I'm also going to put them on the notched edges of the little stitched hillsides that come with the shadow box die collection. I'm showing 2 here. I'm actually going to use 4 layers inside my box. You can use as many as you want. Kind of think of it as adding those layers on a flat card. So as many layers as you want, you can create with those. So those are the dies right here, and they have a nice little score line. All of this is from the Storm Cloud cardstock. I'm going to remove one of the score tape sides, and I'm going to make a long strip out of both sides, or all the box pieces. But I'm not going to attach the other side yet. I want to leave it flat until I get everything put together. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and attach one side of these little stitched hillsides. What's going to create that shadow box effect. Right along the bottom of the card, layering these. And again, only attach one side. I'm going to show you an easy tip for being able to attach these all at once and to get them perfectly lined up. If you attached or put the box together and tried to stick these inside, it is such a pain. So this is a great way to get them attached easily and perfectly straight. On the back, what's going to be the back of the box card pop-up here, the shadow box pop-up, I'm going to put my sky that I created. And it's okay that the bottom is really kind of messy. You are never going to see that. Those stitched hillsides go in front of it. There's going to be layers. There's going to be lots of stuff. I did die cut a border from the little picket fence border, and I'm going to trim this down. I'm kind of messily cutting this because it's going to be hidden behind one of these borders. And I'm going to trim it down after I lay it next to this border and kind of figure out exactly where I want it to go. But what this is going to do, this is on the very back, the fourth layer of my shadow box. It's going to be this great little black fence that a little ghost can pop up behind that also serves as some fun interest. Kind of looks like a little graveyard. That's the theme I'm going for here. Instead of super cutesy, I'm going for a little bit more traditional Halloween. It's lawn fawn, so it's still very cute, but this is a little bit more subtle. So behind this one layer, I'm going to lay down my picket fence. Again, I use score tape to secure it. It's nice and strong. So when I shut that, there's that little fence in the background. Also, I did stamp the bat from Happy Haunting, the small bat, right on the moon with the Simon Says stamp black licorice ink. Now I'm using some glossy accents because I for sure don't want any of these little pieces going anywhere. There are some little trees in the shadow box set. There's all kinds of great little dies in this. There's some trees, there's a little bird. You can do all kinds of things with this, but I'm going to, on this third layer, and I believe the second layer, I am attaching trees, and I am only doing 3 here, but I did end up doing, I believe 5, yes, 5 trees when I'm completely done with this whole scene building. And these are out of black cardstock. Again, just like the fence, I kind of want them to look like they're in shadow. I want it to appear that, you know, there's some depth to this scene. The gravestone is from the Spooktacular stamp set. Again, this is not new. This is a couple years old, but this little art rest in peace gravestone, perfect for my scene. Stamping this on some more Canson watercolor cardstock with Versamark ink, heat embossing again with that new Lawn Fawn white embossing powder, and then taking black and silver watercolors and inking up my gravestones. Now this is way too dark, so before it dries, I am just simply picking it up with a paper towel, a dry paper towel, and lightening the look. I want them to look kind of gray, kind of like cement. So I'm just simply laying that color down. If it gets too dark, I'm picking it up with a paper towel, and I'll go back and fix that however I need to fix it. Once these are painted and dry, I'm going to use the coordinating Spooktacular die to die cut my 2 gravestones. On a piece of vellum, I am going to stamp the 3 ghosts from Happy Haunting, as well as the large bat. Now the ghosts are going to be stamped and embossed with white embossing powder. The large bat is going to be embossed with black embossing powder and then die cut with the coordinating Happy Haunting dies. These are the last few images I need to put the actual scene together, and then we'll work on the sentiment that's going to go on a banner at the top of the box. So while the box is still unassembled, I still haven't adhered all of those edges to the other side because it is so much easier, you guys, to attach everything when the box is still kind of relatively flat. I keep shutting it because it gives me a better idea of where everything is going to go, make sure that I'm not overlapping anything. That first and second border are where my two headstones are going to go. There's going to be a ghost popping out from this first one. So my little vellum ghosty right there. And I'm going to just put something heavy on that to help hold it flat for just a second till that dries. My little ghost I'm going to have tucked behind the fence coming out of the back of that fourth layer. And it's really coming to life now. Vellum is a fantastic layering tool in any card design, but I think it works especially well for this Halloween card. I'm going to have another ghost. The big one, I'm just going to trim off some of that so it looks like he's peeking up, just coming up out of that right corner of the card. So right on the forefront. He is actually attached to the front of this card. Little score tape again to secure him. Just flip that over and put him right in place. So when this is all shut, you can see all the layers of the ghosts, the headstones, cute little fence, and the trees. And then finally, my last image, which is the second bat, the larger of the two bats from Happy Haunting, I am going to secure him to a really thin piece of acetate. When I create shaker cards, I usually have leftover acetate, and I save all those little pieces because they're fantastic for box card pop-ups, or in this case, the shadow box. And what I'm going to do is kind of measure where I think that's going to go, add some adhesive to the back of this. It's a really thin, clear piece of acetate, so it doesn't take away from the overall feel, and it looks like that bat is floating inside of the shaker box this way. And then I'm going to secure him to that back layer. In fact, I at first put him up just a tiny bit too high. You're not going to be able to see him when that's shut very well. So I'm going to move him down just a tiny bit so that when the box is all assembled and you're looking at it sitting there on your shelf or whatever, you can see him kind of in the background. That looks much, much better. And I'm ready to assemble my box now. So what I'm going to do is take my box, lay it flat, peel off all of these little score tape backing paper off of all of the tabs, and then I'm simply going to make sure they're lined up perfectly with the bottom of the card and fold the front cover shut kind of like a book. Press that down really good, and when I pop it up, look at that, perfectly lined up. I just love it. Okay, so then I'm going to simply lay it flat this way, pull the tab off of the other side of the box, press that down again, and my box is all assembled. Aren't these shadow boxes so super cute? The possibilities are endless. You could create these for every season. I think these are cute on desks. I think these make cute gifts. You can lay it flat to put it in an envelope and then simply mail it. And when the recipient gets it, they pop it up and out, and there they have their shadow box card. Now I think this needs a little greeting. I am die cutting the smallest fancy folded banner from some black licorice cardstock. And then I'm taking the words Happy and Halloween, and these are from the brand new Costume Party stamp set. And what I did was I went through my Halloween stamp sets and found a greeting that would fit. And I knew I wanted to use this small banner for my cards so that you could still see everything going on inside the shadow box. This fit. It's the perfect sentiment. I'm going to stamp it with Versamark ink, heat emboss this with the Lawn Fawn white embossing powder. I love that Lawn Fawn has branched out to embossing powders. 4 colors, you guys. So exciting. Plus 2 glitters. Can't wait to share some Christmas projects with those. I'm going to secure the banner to the front of my shadow box with some glue dots on each end only. There's nothing in the center, so that my banner is still going to fold flat when it's in the envelope, but when it pops up and out, that banner is going to pop up a little bit because it's just secured on those tabs. So I'm laying my box flat to secure this, and then simply pop the box up, and this Halloween shadow box card is all finished. Thanks for joining me today for this Lawn Fawn shadow box card tutorial. The supplies I used to create this card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more Lawn Fawn videos that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.